Have you ever felt it? That deep, unshakable knowing that this life is somehow your last round? That you're just done with the cycle? It's not morbid, it's profound. And if that resonates, you might be closer to breaking free than you think. Forget what you think you know, the signs you're about to hear could reveal you're at the edge of something extraordinary, perhaps living your last human life right now. There's a strange feeling some people get, a sense that this existence is their final round, like they've seen it all before, as if they're on the verge of transcending to something greater. What if reincarnation isn't just an endless loop, but a system with an exit? Some people might be living their last human life, reaching the final stage before breaking free from the cycle of rebirth. The question is, how would you know? The signs are not what you might expect. If you recognize these, you might be at the edge of something extraordinary. But before we break down those signs, let's touch upon the concept of life cycles itself. Many religions and philosophies suggest we're cycling through reincarnations, repeated births and deaths, until achieving a certain awareness. But modern physics complicates this. If time isn't linear, if consciousness isn't confined to the body, then reincarnation might not be sequential. It could be all lives happening at once, just from different angles. If so, escaping the cycle isn't progressing forward, but stepping outside of time itself. The signs of a last life soul might not be about traditional advancement, but rather about realizing reality itself is an illusion. So, how might this manifest? Well, if you possess the following traits, you might indeed be in your last life cycle. Firstly, you might feel like a stranger in the human experience. No matter how much you engage with life, something inside feels separate. You participate in relationships, conversations, daily routines, but it feels like watching from a distance, an actor playing a role that doesn't quite fit. Others seem deeply invested in life's drama, chasing money, status, power, but for you, it all feels hollow, like a game where the rules don't matter anymore. You're not disconnected depressively, you're detached because something in you recognizes none of it is permanent, none of it is real in the way most perceive. It's like observing a play, knowing the ending. This feeling aligns eerily with quantum physics interpretations suggesting consciousness isn't in the brain but is a field beyond physical reality. If so, the self we experience might just be a temporary avatar, a projection we identify with until we wake up. People on their last reincarnation might not be lost souls, they might be closest to realizing that self was never real in the first place. The deeper this awareness, the more the world feels like a dream you're waking from, one where nothing ever belonged to you, and you never truly belonged to it. Now, if reincarnation is a learning cycle, why do some reach a point of no longer needing to learn? What if the point wasn't growth, but recognizing growth itself as an illusion? Feeling like a stranger might mean you're no longer bound to life like others. You've seen the loops. You don't need more lessons, you just need to wake up. Secondly, that feeling of deja vu might feel like more than just familiarity, it could be cross-timeline awareness. Most dismiss deja vu as a brain trick, misfiring neurons creating illusory familiarity. But what if it's more profound, an indication you're aware of something beyond time? If you experience deja vu not just vaguely, but with overwhelming certainty of having lived this exact moment before, something strange is happening. It's recognition, consciousness momentarily slipping between timelines. People in their final reincarnation often report intense deja vu, not just from this life, but flashes from lives never lived in this reality, places never visited, knowledge never taught. If time is nonlinear, as relativity and quantum theory suggest, reincarnation might not be sequential. All your lives might happen simultaneously, consciousness shifting between them. Deja vu, then, isn't memory, it's a glitch in the simulation, remembering a parallel version experiencing the same event. If this happens frequently, you might be becoming aware of existence's multilayered nature. The deeper the deja vu, the closer you may be to breaking free from the illusion of time. A third powerful indicator is that you no longer fear death, not because you don't care, but because you remember. Fear of death is considered fundamental, biologically wired. Yet, you don't feel the same existential dread. It's not recklessness or a death wish, but a calm certainty, a deep knowing death isn't fearful. This is one of the strongest signs your soul nears the cycle's end. Why? You've been through it before. Died so many times the process isn't scary. The idea of ceasing to exist feels unreal because something remembers what comes after. This contradicts mainstream evolutionary psychology. But what if the unknown isn't unknown to you? What if, subconsciously, you retain memories from past deaths? Near-death experiences often describe peace, returning home, not an ending. If this resonates, if death seems like transition, not finality, your consciousness might be preparing to exit the cycle. Consider this: if death is just a doorway, the real prison isn't mortality, it's forgetting. The cycle works if you don't remember. But if you do remember, if part of you knows existence doesn't stop, you've already broken part of the illusion. Seeing the illusion means you might be standing at the edge of escaping it. Fourth, you experience unexplainable synchronicities. The universe is responding directly to you. Most dismiss coincidences as random. But for you, life feels responsive. Think about something, it appears. Need an answer, it finds you. Feel lost, the right sign shows up, like a hidden map. These aren't accidents. Synchronicities strongly indicate reaching the cycle's end because they suggest you're not just inside the illusion, you're interacting with it. Think what this means. If reality responds to your thoughts, what is it? Quantum mechanics shows observation affects reality, particles behave differently when watched. Consciousness might not be a byproduct, but the fabric of existence. If so, life might be a complex, interactive simulation. Those nearing the end start seeing the code behind the game. You've noticed thoughts shaping your world, seen too many coincidences to believe in randomness. It's like becoming lucid in life's dream. And the paradox: if you see through the illusion, aren't you already outside it? What if the final reincarnation isn't about learning one last lesson, but realizing there was nothing to learn? What if the cycle ends not by earning enlightenment, but understanding the system was a construct keeping you looping? If life mirrors your thoughts, you might already be breaking the program's boundaries. Fifth, you feel an overwhelming sense of completion, as if there's nothing left to chase. Most people hunger for more: money, success, love, validation, living in constant longing. But you? You don't feel that need. Not lacking goals, but feeling complete without them. Nothing left to prove, nothing to desperately chase. This isn't laziness, it's deeper. It's realizing everything outside you was never the answer. This clearly signals reaching the final stage. Your soul has played every role, experienced extremes, wealth/poverty, love/heartbreak, power/powerlessness. Nothing left to grasp. Ancient texts describe this as the soul unbound by karma. The reincarnation cycle is fueled by attachments, desires, fears, unfinished lessons. When those dissolve, so does the need to return. You no longer feel you must do or be something to justify existing. You simply are. Sixth, stemming from this completion, you sense that reality is not the base layer, you can feel the edges of the illusion. Most take reality at face value: sky blue, object solid, time linear. But you've always suspected something's off. Maybe it started realizing everything seen is just brain interpretation of energy. Color isn't real, eyes detect light wavelengths. Touch isn't real, atoms never contact. The navigated world is a sensory projection built by our brains. If perception isn't reality, what is? This question isn't just philosophical, it's backed by physics exploring holographic universe possibilities, physical space as encoded information projected from a deeper dimension. The moment you start sensing this, questioning if this world is base reality, you're at a threshold. If reincarnation is a system, what happens when someone realizes the system itself isn't real? The cycle breaks. The illusion dissolves. You don't reincarnate back into the game because you realize you were never inside it to begin with. And seventh, this leads to the ultimate realization: you know that you were never real, and that's the final key to liberation. Here's the final, most difficult truth: you are not who you think you are. The idea of you as an individual, separate from everything, is an illusion created by the mind. Your thoughts, personality, memories, none define you. They are temporary, like waves on an ocean. When the wave crashes, the ocean remains. What if that's reincarnation? A wave rising and falling until it realizes it was never separate from the ocean. This is why ego death is considered the last step before liberation. The reincarnation cycle isn't about your soul improving, it's about breaking the idea that you are someone moving through time. The moment you see through the illusion of self, the structure collapses. The need to reincarnate disappears because there's no longer an I needing to return. Many spiritual traditions teach the final realization isn't I am divine, but I am nothing. And yet, in becoming nothing, you become everything. So, what happens when the cycle ends? Vanishing? Merging? Becoming something else? No one can say for certain. But if you resonate with this, if something in you has always felt you were never real in the first place, then you may be on the very edge of something unimaginable. The moment you let go, the moment you stop clinging to the illusion of self, you are free. Recognizing these signs within yourself can be a profound, perhaps even startling experience. The feeling of being a stranger in this world, the intense déjà vu that seems to bridge timelines, the fading fear of death, the universe seemingly responding through synchronicities, that sense of deep completion where the chase finally ends, feeling the very edges of reality's illusion, and the ultimate, paradoxical knowing that the self you thought you were was never truly real. These are not everyday occurrences. They point towards a potential shift in consciousness, a possible completion of the long, intricate journey through the wheel of life. This isn't about claiming definitive knowledge or labeling yourself with certainty. It's about acknowledging the resonance, that inner feeling that something fundamental is changing within your relationship to this existence, perhaps signaling a readiness to move beyond the familiar cycles of learning and experience. It's an invitation to look deeper, to question the nature of reality and your own identity within it, not from a place of fear, but from one of profound curiosity and unfolding awareness. The journey itself, the very act of questioning and observing these signs, is arguably part of the awakening process, part of remembering who you truly are beyond the limitations of this single lifetime. Perhaps understanding these signs isn't about knowing the future, but about finding freedom in the present, freedom from fear, freedom from attachment, freedom from the illusion of a separate, enduring self that needs to keep returning. Maybe the exit from the cycle isn't a future event, but a state of being you cultivate right now by seeing through the game itself. If you have made it this far, and if any of these signs deeply resonated with your own experience, let us know. Comment down below with the word 100% to confirm that you have received the knowledge from this video. What signs have you noticed in your own life? How do you interpret them? Your insights contribute to our collective understanding of this profound human, and perhaps post-human, journey. For more interesting topics exploring the deeper nature of reality, consciousness, and the soul's evolution, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching, and may your path continue to unfold with clarity, peace, and boundless discovery.